Did you know that your 40s can be some of your most exciting years ever? Stay with me.
Dancing through the night, stronger, bolder, moving with grace, owning her story, she's setting the pace. Step by step, she's breaking the chains, living her life, she's changing the game. Power and beauty, rhythm and soul, African woman, she's taking control.
Hello, beautiful people. How you doing? Welcome back to my channel. In her 40s, unleashing the Daniamite experience. It's been an interesting journey. Let me just put it that way. It's been an interesting 6 weeks. Now we're going on week 7. Today, I think I'd like to talk about spirituality, and because it's a very big part of, I'll say, our lives as human beings. Most of us are spiritual, even if not particularly religious. I've mentioned in previous episodes, I'm not necessarily religious, but I am very spiritual. I do believe there's a sovereign being. I believe there's a God, whatever name you want to call him, but I genuinely believe there's a God. I believe someone created everything that we can see, smell, touch. So even the things we human beings invented and created, he gave us the knowledge and wherewithal to be able to invent. You know the way they say we're created in his own image. So he made us co-creators of life. He could have done everything finished from the get-go, but he chose to just put in the basics and then let us build on what he had started. And I feel that that's where sometimes we forget the power that we carry as human beings, as the higher species of animals, I would say. And you know, as they say, he's given us power and dominion over every other thing that he has created. So yeah, I want to talk about spirituality because a lot of the times when you tell people you're not religious, they automatically assume you're an atheist, which is that you don't believe in God. And that's very not true. I think maybe more nowadays, it's more common to find people who are not necessarily religious, but very spiritual. A few years ago, it sounded very strange. So I remember the first time I met someone who said he didn't have a religion, but he prayed, him and his family prayed to God. So it was maybe like 20 years ago. And I was with one of my very close friends, then a guy. I think we went for an event. We met this other guy, interesting guy. And then somehow we got on the topic of religion. And it was like, oh, he doesn't practice any religion. And my friend could not understand it. Like his brain could not figure it out. He was almost like, no, that means you don't believe in God. What do you mean? Blah, blah, blah. And the guy was trying to explain that, no, I pray with my wife and kids every day. We pray to God. We believe in God. We just don't go to church or mosque or any of those things. But we pray to God. For me, it was very interesting because I think maybe this was one of the first times I was hearing it. But my friend, it was almost like, you know, like when they say there's already a roadblock in his mind, there was already a roadblock. He couldn't even fathom the idea that someone could not practice any religion, you know. So it was almost an argument because he kept trying to disprove with the guy that, no, you can't say you believe in God and not practice any religion. And the guy kept trying to convince him that, but Oga, you know of 2 religions based on the part of the world that you live in. There's so many more out there. So are you saying that all those other people are not praying to God? So the Buddhists, I'm not saying like all these new age religions and co, but like there's so many other religions, Hindu, Buddhism, and what have you. They all believe in some form of a sovereign being, you know? So I feel like religion is a context of what you've been exposed to growing up. Most of us follow the religions that we were born into. So a few people convert along the way, but more often than not, you stay with that religion because that's what you know, that's what's familiar to you. And that's pretty much what I would almost say maybe makes sense to you. And it got to a point in my life. So I grew up in a family where I had both Muslims and Christians. My siblings were Christians. I was the only Muslim child from my mom, growing up. And that was because I genuinely liked what Islam represented. So, yes, it was a quote unquote stricter religion, as they say, but yeah, I didn't grow up in a strict Muslim family. So it wasn't like, oh, I had to cover my head and do all those kind of things, wear hijab and whatnot. No. So I could just focus on the things that were important. So things like knowing that your thoughts are as important as your actions. So it's not just that, oh, I thought about it, but I didn't act on it. No. So it was important that your thoughts were also pure. It was important that you guarded your thoughts. And for a young girl growing up, so a lot of what I learned about Islam was from, I'd say, secondary school, doing IRK, and also being exposed to other Muslims, kids that grew up in Muslim homes, kids that had gone to Quranic school and whatnot. I didn't necessarily go to Quranic school. We had a couple of Quranic teachers, but they really did not last long, to be honest. So we learned the basics, Alif, Ba, Ta, Sa, and Co, but we never really, it wasn't anything core Muslim per se, so to speak. So, like I was saying, so I genuinely felt more at home with Islam because I also liked the fact that it was important for charity was a very important pillar of Islam, which is you have to give back. You have to help the less privileged. You have to sort of pass on the torch and those kind of stuff. And I felt that those were things that I also believed in. Anyway, let me not overly flog it. So I grew up Muslim. In fact, for the longest time, I practiced Islam. Ramadan was very important. People that know me, that have been close to me over the years, would know when it comes to Ramadan, Papa becomes Alaja Usamot. I transform, so to speak. Transform, yeah. Even though the concept is for you to continue those behaviors after Ramadan, but trust us, as Ramadan is finishing like this, we're back on the streets. But really, to be honest, but I was also exposed to Christianity. Like I said, my siblings were Christians. They went to church. In fact, my mom always insisted. So come Sunday, there was no excuse. If you're not going to church, then you are practicing Islam. But if you choose to be a Christian, then you have to go to church on Sundays. So I never understood why people always felt like, oh, one religion is bad and one religion is... For me, it was just like, it's just what you choose, what you're comfortable with, what resonates with you. And in the whole context of it, so my mom grew up with her grandma, and her grandma was a staunch Christian. So my mom can read the Bible as well as quotes from the Quran. So it was never anything, I never saw that division, so to speak, because I had aunties, uncles who were Christians, I had aunties, uncles who were Muslims. So we went for different events in both, I would say, segments or in both religions. So I'll go for Thanksgiving in church for someone, and same way I'll go for our prayer, Muslim prayer for another person. It was normal. It wasn't anything. So it was strange now going outside and people using religion as a way to segregate each other or put each other in boxes. I didn't understand it. I've never understood it because I feel like if we all think we're praying to the same God or we all believe in the same God, then why would he want division amongst us? He doesn't. That's the human element of it. And I think that's where I had the most problems. So I decided to just clear the slates, so to speak. I decided to clear the slates. I decided to find God on my own terms. I decided to understand who God created me to be. And I think that's largely what religion tries to teach us, so to speak. So you find a lot of people are so focused on being a good Christian or a good Muslim that they actually aren't practicing the word of God. So you have the Alpha on speed dial, or you have your pastor on speed dial. You're the one that is donating the highest money in church when they want to do something and want to, but you're a wicked person at heart. Like, let's stop playing. There's some people that the house girls in their house are suffering, genuinely suffering, But when you see them outside, they're like, oh my God, deaconess, something, something, something. And then you're blessed, stay blessed, you're blessed, stay blessed. But the girl that is living with them, their cousin's daughter or their cousin's son that they are helping to train, they are treating that person like a slave. And then you tell me that you have God in your heart. I'm sorry. No, like all those things is for fertility. It's for man. But if you're doing it for God, you know that you can't hide. Because it's those things you do when other people are not watching. It's those things that you do when you are alone. That's what shows your true character. It's not what you do for show. It's not what you do, so that people can say, and this person is so nice. Oh, she's so spiritual. She can quote the Bible. Just ask her any chapter. She will just go to you. Oh, John 2:16, so on, so on, so on. Story. When day? Have you written exam? If I'm going for theology school or whatever, yeah, that's different. But if it's in life, no. If you're reading your Bible or reading your Quran, it's so that a lot of those stories are meant to teach us lessons. So it's not just about cramming the scripture or cramming the verses in the Quran. It's more about living or imbibing those things that are godly, those things that are decent, those things that make you human. Because, like, when I look at the way we behave to ourselves, forget, we no get God. Oh. Let me even speak about Nigerians, the ones that I know, that I've grown up with. I've lived in Nigeria all my life, so I can only talk about Nigerians. We're one of the most religious countries in the world, but god damn, man. God damn. We're not very good people. I can't lie. It pains me to say it, but we're not very good people. And I say that with no judgments. This is not me pointing fingers. I'm not a perfect person, but we no try. We no try. We no try. I mean, all lie. We no try at all. Because it's easy for us to point fingers and say, oh, our leaders, or the government, or the blah, blah, blah. They are us. They're people like us. The leaders are human beings. They're Nigerians like us. They're our brothers, our sisters, our fathers, our husbands, boyfriends, sugar daddy, sugar mom, whatever it is. They're our people. So they're only a reflection of how we are as individuals. Like, when things happen, so let me give you an example. If a natural disaster occurs now, the first thing the average Nigerian is thinking is how to inflate prices, how to make the most of the situation, instead of thinking of how do I help my fellow person who's gotten into trouble. The situation with like the displaced, the IDP camps, like people were donating money, resources, foods, whatnot, and human beings like you and I were hoarding those things. In fact, they were selling it to people. These are people that have lost their entire livelihoods. Some have even lost their family members and whatnot. And they were now put into a camp. And people are donating, companies are donating food stuff that, okay, at the very least, be able to manage from day to day. And some human beings decided this is the best time to exploit these people because they are desperate, because they are in need. And then you tell me that, leave religion, forget religion. If you're not a good person, you're not a good person. It's not about how many chapters of the Bible you can quote or how many verses of the Quran you can quote. No, 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 no. When God says love your neighbor as yourself, it's a whole lot. It's a big deal. That because some of us don't even love ourselves. So how can you love your neighbor? We don't love ourselves, genuinely. Genuinely. So you can't love your neighbor, and that means no discrimination. So that your neighbor is not, because this is Mr. Shegu, he's nice to me, so me too, I'll be nice to him. No. That means anybody, any human being that you come in contact with, that's your neighbor. Let me try and stop belly. That's my crop top. Don't worry, very soon I will have 6-pack again. But anyway, so it's saying that it is a big deal because some people will annoy the hell out of you. That to find the love in your heart is hard. It's very hard because they will do you some kind of strong thing. It takes the grace of God to be able to forgive them, not just forgive them, but to be able to let go of that hurt or that pain. And the way God's love is unconditional is the same way He expects us to unconditionally love ourselves. I know this is a big deal. It's a lot. It sounds easy. It's very, very easier said than done. But if you want to walk this spiritual path, even if it's a religious path, but it's saying that you genuinely want to imbibe the ways of God, or you just want to seem like on the surface, I'm holier than thou. Stay blessed, be blessed, you're blessed. Oh, hallelujah. God bless this house. Person saying that God bless this house as they're entering, they're already, like, wow. And they buy new television. They've even changed their AC. Oh, that one, abubu yaya. God sees your hearts. Stop deceiving yourself. Anyway, I'm not pointing fingers. Me, I'm just saying, based on my observation. And it's part of the reason why I chose to go the route that I went or that I'm going on. And the things that I discovered for myself are some of the things that maybe I'm sharing. So it might seem like I'm pointing fingers. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, to each their own. We're all going on our different journeys. But my own personal journey, the God that I know, I saw a Bible episode 1, I know that the God that created me is safe. He have small coins because we are created in his likeness and in his image. Yeah. My God is a bubbling God. He's a funky God. Just see, just look at the sky, look at the mountains, the oceans, like everything is just beautiful. Very nice. You know, you say, oh, this scenic route, oh, this picturesque. It's God that created it. And it's because he likes beauty. He himself is beauty. Like arts, we didn't discover arts. Like we have nature. Nature is our arts. So God created a system that works. He created a system. Created a system that functions. And that's saying that he does not wake up every day and say, yeah, sun, rise. Trees start sprouting leaves. Oceans start flowing. Rivers start flowing. Mountains start growing. No, he had created all those things and they all just sort of function. I call it personally, I call it the root system. And that's saying that he created, how will I put it now? He created a system and a structure that functions outside of his command because he's already that command is everlasting. Everlasting. So the rivers will flow, the oceans will flow, the trees will grow, the plants will feed each other, the animals will feed each other. All those things happen without him having to command it every single day, every single day, every single day. And when I thought about that, I now asked myself, I said, if this, my God, if it's this structured, if it's this detail-oriented, that means he wants us as human beings to also be the same way. Which is, he wants us to put systems and processes in place so that we're not repeating the same things every day. The way I don't wake up every day and activate my lungs to breathe, or activate my eyes to see, activate my ears to hear. I don't have to do those things because they've already been programmed in my system. That's part of what makes me human. I'm already functioning. So the things that are in my control, how do I create systems and processes in a way that certain things just happen? And that's where discipline comes in. Now, stay with me. It might seem like I'm going off topic, but I'm not. That's where discipline comes in. You have to be consistent. I'm still struggling with this. I'm still struggling with it. But like I said, it's part of what I discovered. I'm an overthinker, so sometimes my thinking can go. But it always makes sense at the end. So, like I was saying, that's where consistency and discipline comes in. You have to have a routine that works for you. And the reason why is because psychologically, physiologically, even mentally, you feed off of your routines, your habits, and those kind of things. So one thing leads to another, one thing triggers another. So for example, is in the mornings, I have a time that I like to have for myself, even if it's just an hour or two. So I don't mind waking up earlier than most so that I have that me time before my phone starts ringing and text messages start coming in. That's my coffee time. So I'm sitting down drinking my coffee, just allowing my body boots, so to speak, after waking up, after praying. You're booting and trying to just get yourself mentally prepared for the day. That's a ritual. That's a routine that I have. Automatically, because I've chosen that as my, would I say, kickstart to my day, my body already knows that once we have this coffee, so the day I don't get a chance to do that, I feel like something is missing, something is missing. It doesn't mean that I still won't get stuff done, but because my body or my system is used to that, when that doesn't happen, it seems like something is missing. So it's similarly in, see, it's similarly, when you create a system that works for you, stay consistent maintains that rhythm in your body, in your soul, in your spirit, maintains that, how will I want to say, sureness in what you know. So the way we are convinced that the sun is going to rise and set tomorrow, whether I wake up tomorrow or not, the sun is going to rise and set tomorrow. Whether the next person wakes up or not, the sun is going to rise and set tomorrow, whether you like it or not. Whether you're having a good day, a bad day, whatever it is, those are givens. Those will happen. Those are like your normals. And so that's why when I say the root system is trying to now find what my own rhythm is, what my own flow is. The universe is already flowing. Let me now try and flow with the universe instead of fighting the current. God created me to be calm under pressure. He created me to be, and that's where the whole consistency comes, because regardless of what's happening to you from the outside, you don't have any control over it. But the only thing you have control over is how you deal with situations. How centered are you? How sure are you that this too shall pass? Because this too shall pass. Whether you're having a good time or a bad time, this too shall pass. Nothing stays the same forever. If you're having a fantastic time, you're cashing out business-wise and blah, 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 there'll be a period where it goes down. It might not go down that like you're broke or bankrupt, but there'll be a period where it's not just bountiful harvests all the time. So are you prepared for that? Some people can't deal with that. When that period comes, they become a whole different person. And that's why God does not allow us just be on the same plane. You have to go through the valleys and the hills, because it's going through those different phases of life that you now learn to find a balance. Because you know that I can't be exceptionally happy all the time, neither am I going to be sad all the time or whatnot. There's a balance in between. So good day, bad day is my choice, how I want to take that day. I want it to be a good day, fantastic. I want it to be a bad day, fantastic. So I would say a lot of spirituality is also tied to wellness, and wellness in terms of like your mental health, even sometimes your physical health, because when you worry a lot, you bring problem to yourself mentally, physically. Sometimes when you're stressed, your body starts to shut down on you. That's when you're falling ill quicker, because there's so much on your mind. You're probably not taking care of yourself as much. You're overthinking stuff, maybe eating unhealthy and all those kind of stuff, having unhealthy habits and all, just to try and cope with the stress without realizing that you're doing more damage to yourself. So in discovering my own good, I learned to let go of a lot of stuff, and that changed my mental health. And because I'd spoken about the fact that I went through a period where I sort of went through depression, and the only way I could have handled it, at least the way I handle it, without really relying on people, without really talking to people too much about it, was by talking to God. And he reminded me of a lot of things, and a lot of things in the sense that, Madam, there's already a guideline. There are like rule books. There are different things I've tried to tell you in different ways. You've just chosen not to listen, or you've chosen to try and do it your way. It can't happen because it's not specific to me, Tope Dania. It's for everybody. They're universal rules, universal laws. And this is because this is the manual. This is the person that created something that can give you the manual on how it will function. You can't ask anybody else now, because when he was creating it, there's a reason why he created all these things. There's a reason why we sweat. There's a reason why we need water and food to survive. We could have just been like robots. We don't need to eat anything, but we're just there. Just breathing is enough nutrients for us to function. But he created all these things for a purpose, for a reason. I don't know the reason for everything, but saying that in sort of going back to ground zero and talking to him, a lot of what I think stood out to me is that reliance on him. Because as human beings, because we have been given the faculty of thinking, we sometimes forget that we know past God. We try and overdo because we think there's much more in our control than there actually is. There really isn't. He didn't create us to control ourselves. He didn't create us to dominate ourselves. And the things like wars and all these things coming. It's human ego. It's not because God said go and conquer anybody. No, 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 no. Develop your own community. Like every continent was given something that they can exchange for value. Every continent, every country, every community, there's something you can exchange for value, but because ojukokoro, I know they say greed, ojukokoro sometimes enters, you want more than what you have. So instead of exchanging value fairly, you want to take another person's own and add to yours because you feel that you are more deserving. Who told you? But that's the human part of it. And so with this, my so-called journey, it's not over. I'm still on it. It was more a case of you can't look outside. You have to look inwards to renew, refresh. So the Christians will say, oh, I'm born again. It's not just by mouth. That's being born again is from the inside. It can't just be, oh, because I've said a few words and said, oh, I've accepted Christ. I've just said those things. Have I really imbibed them? Saying that you accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior is all well and good, but are you ready to practice his teachings? It's not just accepting it from out so that he'll give you free Bible and rice in church. Because I heard that some churches, they give you free lunch if you're a new first-time comer. So some people always up and down to different churches. I'm eating free lunch. I digress. But just saying that, so I had to understand who God was in my own way, the way I understand it. So right or wrong, I don't know. But for me, that's what makes sense, is that he's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He's never going to change. He's not going to shake. He doesn't need your permission to be. He is who he is, regardless of how you feel about him. And he's so benevolent that he gave us the option of choice to fuck up, to sin, to make mistakes, to do all that. He did not have to, but he did. Because it's almost like saying that without giving us the option of choice, we couldn't also have been co-creators. Because in being able to invent and think and develop, you have to have options. It can't just be one way. The same way you rarely hit it right the first time. If you're an inventor, for example, it's never that first time you try that you get it right. So you might get it 50% right and then you add on. But there's always mistakes. There's always trial and error. And that's where the option of choice comes. And he gave us that so that if it was such a wicked God, we would still be in the Garden of Eden. We would just be eating, fucking, and pray every day. Sorry, eating, procreating, and praying every day. PG version. That's what we'll be doing, really. All these ones, we don't need it. We don't even know that we're missing anything. Technology, internet, we don't need it. Just be there, like the rest of the animal species. Just serving the purpose of replenishing the earth or replenishing the planets, the universe. But he gave us option of choice so that we could expand on what he had created. And for me, that in itself is a lot, because that's why I said he's that benevolent. So what fuck up do you want to fuck up that he has not thought of? Like, how bad do you want to fuck up? He has thought of it. He he's okay with it. It's not about you fucking up. It's about you cleaning up your act after you mess up. That's the important part. So I've done some things that I'm not proud of, some things that maybe are not, might not have been the best choices or best decisions. It's part of growing, it's part of, evolving. But I'm also learning from those mistakes. And in being not too, not, and in not focusing on religion rather, I'm open to learning from anybody and everybody. And anybody and everybody in the sense that I'm not limiting myself to only one way of life. No. If I meet a Buddhist tomorrow, I'll genuinely be interested to understand Buddhism. What is it about? Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? What are the, I'll say maybe doctrines that you follow? What are the key things? Because our version of God is different based on our interaction with Him. Our understanding of Him is different based on how we think. I personally feel like He's a bubbly God, He's a joyous person, because that's how I am. And if I'm created in His image, and definitely there's some elements of me, there's some character traits that I have that he's like that too. He's like that too. So I'm learning to not worry as much because He's come through so many times, so many times. Like I can't even count. Just even waking up every day is Him coming through for you without you realizing. That in itself is a gift. There are so many people that started this year with us and didn't even see past the first month. Some didn't see past that New Year's Day. They celebrated New Year's Day with us, and by the next day they were gone. It's not in anybody's control. It's not because they're good or bad people. It's not because they're sinners or pious. No, that's just life. When it's your time, it's your time. So whatever time I have on this earth, I want to be a good person. So in the quest of wanting to be a better person, it's not just a better person in terms of how to make more money and all those kind of stuff. It's also saying I want to be a better person on the inside. I want to be a better person with my connection with God. I want to be a better person to the people around me. Let me put it that way. Not because I'm trying to package, but because that's who I am. I want people to be around me and genuinely feel like, oh, there's something about this person. I don't be able to put your finger on it, but just feel is how they call it, good aura, good energy. Yes, I want to be that person who radiates good aura. I want to be that person who you feel safe just being around them. Not necessarily. It's not because maybe I'm providing any shelter or anything, but just that feeling of peace and calm radiates from me. I want to be that person. And the only way to be that person is to let go of all the problems, all the issues, and just hand it over to God. Like, He's got it. He's got you covered. Daniamite space. He's got you covered. I'm a plugger. But He's got you covered, to be honest. So all these God's secretary and God's fighters, I don't know who sent you message. Like, God is more than capable of fighting His own battles. He did not send you to go and kill anybody on His behalf. And He didn't send you to judge anybody on His. Like, it's not your job. Focus on yourself. Why are you pointing fingers at what somebody else is doing or not doing? Like, what concern you? How is it affecting your life? Face your fronts, deal with your own issues and stop dealing, because a lot of the times we are trying to deflect. That's why we're so focused on other people instead of looking at ourselves and asking ourselves, am I that quote unquote godly person? Am I that spiritual person? Am I that holier than thou person that I claim to be? So I never understand religious wars. I never understand religious disputes. I don't get it. I never get it because in my mind, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. So I know even in the Quran and in the Bible, there's been references of was on behalf of God, but I don't buy it. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. If he wants to wipe out the entire universe in 1 second, he can do it. It's one snap of his fingers. He does not need you to go and kill the next guy because he doesn't believe in Jesus Christ or he doesn't believe in Muhammad. That's not your job. It's not your job at all. Even in the Bible, you've read it now. There's been different ways that God has wiped the earth. Yeah, we've had floods, we've had famine, we've had, what do you call it? The time that he sent the locusts to go and destroy all if he wants to do anything to wipe us out and start afresh, he can do it by himself. Doesn't need our permission, neither does he need our support. So we fighting battles on his behalf is just bullshit. I'm sorry, it's just bullshit because that's not your business. That's not your duty. Forget it. So that I'm a soldier for God. I'm a soldier for Christ. Leave all that one. Hey, I'm sorry. Leave all that one. Leave it. I'm not saying, of course, you are claiming to emulate certain traits or characteristics or maybe your religious beliefs and whatnot, but it should show in your actions on a daily basis, not just when you are going to do evangelism. So you see some people is when they are going to do evangelism, you see them, they have tied scarf and worn Mary Amaka cloth and all those kind of things. Who knew that? But 2 nights before, they were in the club shaking their yansh and dancing. Auntie, stop denying yourself now. What's the big deal? Nobody is saying that those two parts cannot exist in the same one person, but there's no need to pretend because when you are in that spiritual, religious mode, Sister Mary mode, you are judging everybody else, whereas you also have a part of you that is like that. Come on, we know. So no. That's why I say all these God's secretary and God's champions and God's soldiers, he no send you, he no send you. So I get the fact that yes, you want to say win souls for Christ and all those kind of stuff. That's all well and good. But the best way to win souls for your God is by being someone that people want to be like from your actions, from your behavior. Enough for them to be curious to say, please, I want to know which God you are serving. Because I've seen you maybe in some kind of situations, but the way you handle it, like I'm curious. I want to know, like, what's giving you this maybe confidence or peace or calm? Yes, that's when you genuinely win souls for God, not when you are trying to force your own beliefs on another person. I don't believe so. I've had, even when I was a Muslim, I had a lot of the time, I had people say things like, oh, but you don't look like a Muslim. Oh, but you look like, how do Muslims look? Why? You think because Muslims are rats? Or you think Muslims are poor? Or Muslims are not what's up, they are not exposed, they are not. No, I take that very personal because you are working off of an assumption because of maybe the Muslims you know or you've interacted with. No, a lot of tush funky Muslims that I know, that I grew up with, exposed, educated, everything. So why would you say, oh, you don't look like a Muslim? What do Muslims look like? They have tribal mark or something. Please stop it, Abby. And then I've had people try to convince me to become a Christian. I'm looking at the person, I'm like, you self, you're not imbibing the Christianity, and then you're not trying to tell me that I should come and no. If this is what you're selling, I ain't buying it. I'm not buying it, please, because it's not attractive enough. It's not interesting enough for me to want to switch. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's almost like you just want to tick a box. Oh, I was able to convert one of my Muslim friends to become a Christian. What does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Stop it. So I know this episode seems a bit sober, but I think maybe because I'm also in like a bit of a reflective mode. But in my spiritual journey, I learned to be calm. I learned to just let go of things outside of my control. I learned to focus on my focus. Focus on my focus in the sense that There are things that I can do. There are things that are within my purview. There are things that are in my control to do. Focus on that. The things that are not in my control. Yeah. For example, you'll be saying, oh God, please send me a helper. Oh God, please. That's not in my control. When and how that would happen, I really don't know. The only thing I can do is to prepare myself so that when that helper comes, I have value to offer that helper. I'm not just there to take. Okay, so I think this thing I said just brought me to a point. I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about it, but I'll talk about it. I cannot lie to you. When I hear a lot of people pray, I'm confused. I'm totally confused. I'm confused. There's a lot of I. Or them. So I, in the sense that you're asking for a lot for yourself, and then you're asking for God to punish the people that don't want you to, maybe people that are against me, oh God, fire burn them. The people that don't want me to grow, fire burn them. People that are blocking my path, fire burn them. Kill them, finish them. That person that is your own enemy is another person's helper. The person you are praying that God should kill because they did not help you is helping another person, is helping other people. So if God was listening to our individual prayers, none of us would be in this world. Not one of us. Because I'm sure there are people that have asked me for help or favor that I was either unable to do, or I couldn't do at the time, or I didn't even want to do. Let me not lie, depending on the person or the favor. So imagine that person now praying against me because I did not help them. I go don't die tete now, and all of us would have wiped ourselves off. So sometimes when we pray, we're praying selfishly, like we're very selfish in our prayers. We're not praying to God to help us be better. We're just praying for give me all the time. See, some people just finish Hallelujah challenge. I don't even know if they finished or they are still on it. So those people just did midnight, sleepless nights for nothing. For nothing. Let me not lie to you. I'm not saying that their prayers will not be answered, though. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying their prayers will not be answered. I'm just saying that sometimes the focus is misdirected. So you're praying for things that God has already prepared for you. Like it's already yours. The reason why you haven't received those things is because you haven't done what needs to be done. In order for you to receive those things, you have to be a certain kind of person to receive those things. Sometimes you have to go through some kind of tests or phases in life before you are now able to receive those blessings. But you don't want to go through those phases. You don't want to go through those tests. You just want the blessing. So we feel like prayer is a shortcut. It's not a shortcut. Like, fuck that shit. It's not a shortcut. No. Prayer is supposed to humble you. Prayer is supposed to be self-reflection. It's not for just asking all the time. All the time. We're just asking. That's the only thing we do. Some people from beginning of prayer to the end, they're just asking. Some don't even remember to thank God for the ones that He has given them. All they are doing is, Father Lord, oh please, that car, that husband, that business, that's all. They will ask. Lord, I know that you have already blessed me without even someone. And then they go. They don't even say, thank you, Father, for the one that you gave me yesterday. Thank you for waking me up. Oh. Thank you for good health. Oh. Thank you for... No. They just give me. Punish them, kill them, fire burn them. There are some churches that can never go to because the casting that they're always casting out, who are like, demon go enter you, go follow you, go house. He go follow you, go house. Because they are constantly casting out and burning something or the other. No, that's why I say you are the villain in somebody's story. Nobody is perfect. There's no sense. You are the villain in somebody's story. So if you are continuing to cause your villains, your enemies, your this or your that, come on. Stop it. As my Yoruba people say, stop shide. No. So I needed to also learn how to pray. And for me, it wasn't praying per se. It was more communicating with God, and communicating with God in the sense that I had to open my heart, I had to open my soul, I had to open my spirit up, I had to open my entire being to be able to hear Him when He speaks to me. Because we're so used to talking at Him, we forget that a lot of the things we're asking for, He's directing us on how to get those things. But because we're not listening with our entire being, we don't hear it. So those are the things that sometimes you say, oh, your gut instinct, your intuition, or you dreamt about something, a thought came into your head. That's God speaking to you. And that can only happen if you allow it, or if you hear him, if you teach yourself to hear his voice. Because the devil speaks like God too. He whispers. He will say it softly, gently. So in your mind, you are not sure which one is God's voice and which one is the devil's voice. So you have to be careful. You have to be very careful. I remember I was having a conversation with my mom, and we're talking about something. And she said, no, that the only way to know is you have to be in the spirit at all times. Regardless of what you're doing, you have to be in the spirit at all times. It's a non-negotiable. So it's not that, oh, it's only when I'm praying I'm in that. Doesn't mean that every day you are in a sober mood, but it's just saying that every day you are aware of how things are happening to you or what is happening to you and all. So this whole self-discovery, I genuinely feel that is more spiritual than anything, because a lot of all this self-awareness is, that's how God wants you to be. He wants you to be conscious of the things that are happening to you, of how life is happening, so that even in your behaviors and in your reactions, is not, I would even say, it's not, you're not reacting to stuff, you're responding to stuff. Because you give yourself a few minutes to even process before you now respond. But when you react, if something happens immediately, yeah, it's like someone steps on your toes, and the next thing is you're throwing them slap. And you'll be like, oh, a person like, oh, it was a mistake, oh, sorry, it was just reflex. Because you've trained yourself to respond that way. But if you train yourself to pause and look like, why did you, you now know is, are we fighting, or are we just going to apologize to each other, make everybody go? You give yourself that pause. And that's where the whole listening to God comes in, because there are some things that you might be doing, and that's the reason why you haven't broken through. But you don't realize this because it has become maybe a part of you, it's something that you're doing, it's maybe a habit or a lifestyle, and you don't realize that that's maybe one thing is holding you back from that breakthrough, is holding you back from that elevation or promotion or whatever the case may be. But until you start to listen, until you start to pay attention, then he can guide you. He can't guide you if you are not ready to be guided. He can't. He can only guide you when you have opened yourself and you've accepted that you need guidance. Because believing in a superior being is very humbling. That's why some people that don't believe in God, I don't understand it, because in my mind I'm like, so you think you just came from one atom, quote unquote, as maybe like some scientists will say, one atom just exploded and all this came. How now? Serve it. How? It just came, and we have all these beautiful trees, mountains, rivers, valleys, this one, volcano, even the natural disasters, all. That's the earth purging itself, or regurgitating all the nonsense that we have dumped inside. No, there's a system, there's something created all this. Whether you believe it's a man or a woman, two people or one, whatever your belief, something. And that's where I always try and clarify. I believe in God fully 100, if I don't 100%, 150%. Because I am a product of grace. Me, personally, by myself, I'm a product of grace. There's nothing I would have achieved in this world without God protecting me, without Him guiding me, without Him sometimes even putting me in turbulent situations. Because sometimes you need to learn. You know, when, as a parent, for example, you are training your child or your ward, and you're saying, oh, don't do this, and the child keeps, at some point, you just say, go. Anything your eyes see. When they go and they are harmed, or they will come back. The next time you are saying, in fact, the next time you don't need to say don't go. They automatically know I shouldn't go to this place because, yeah. So there are times that God also allows bad things happen to you because you need to learn a lesson. And sometimes for you to learn that lesson, you have to experience it. Some experiences you learn from other people, but there are some that you have to personally experience so that it stays in your, those of us that have strong head, it stays in your brain. That way, it's almost like repeating it is not an option because that you remember the repercussions of what happened when you did that thing or when you didn't do that thing. So yeah, so even in my praying, I think my praying style has also evolved because I'm now learning to converse with God more as against just talking at him and just carrying. It's almost like saying you don't carry the problem and say, you say I should give you, oh yeah, take, bye-bye. And then you go, no, it's a discussion. It's a, why is this happening? What is happening? What am I doing? What am I not doing? What am I seeing? What am I not seeing? And also understanding that even sometimes when he says yes, it doesn't mean bad things won't happen. It doesn't mean you won't go through some shit. His yes does not guarantee smoothness all the way. So when you are praying and say, oh God, please, we don't want to experience anything bad. That which kind of prayer? That one, see, God will just the yimu. Say, now so you don't want to experience anything bad. So you just want to be going smooth sailing. It's not possible. It's not possible, Joe. You have to go through. So as you are saying that, I say, oh God, please remove hardship from my life. Oh God, please remove tough times from my life. You just be yimmering at it here, Uludu. You don't want to go through tough time. You don't want to go through hardship. So you just want it to be, stop it. Your tough time might not be financial. Might be maybe relationships. Your tough time might be maybe friendships. Your tough time might be maybe even family. So everybody's tough time is different. Some people, financial problem has never been their issue. But they still go through tough times. They still go through heartbreaks, betrayals, growth, evolving, all those things. So because sometimes when you don't have money, you think the people with money don't have problems. No. We all have problems. We all have, money is just one part. That one is for survival, is for everyday living, is for, but tough times would come, whether you like it or not. It's a part of the process. It's a part of the structure that God has created. You will go through tough times. You will go through situations that you don't understand sometimes. You'll go through situations or circumstances that you think are unfair. Because in your mind, you say, but God, I'm a good person now. Oh, but God, I'm a this. When God tested Job, was not a bad person. If anything, the opposite. But a test and strong test that some of us will not even pass at all, at all, at all. But he tested him. And he was a good person. So are you saying that God is a wicked God? He's not wicked now. He's not wicked. And he's not cruel. No. It's the blueprint. So the quicker you understand that, the better for you. It's the blueprint. You will go through certain situations that would test you, that would push you, that would require you to think more than the way you've been thinking. Sometimes I would test your belief in this God that you say you are following. It would test it because there are times things will happen to you and you'll be saying, is there really a God? Like, or if there's a God, why are you doing this to me? No. I'm learning. Don't get me wrong. There are times I see the challenge up. That's the beauty of the choice he has given me to say, God, what's going on? I don't try now. You say, give me small, give me small break. But it's saying that I'm 100% confident and convinced that he's got me. He's got me. He's gone ahead of me to clear the road. He's standing beside me even as I'm walking this journey, and he's behind me, ready to catch me in case I stumble or I want to. So I'm surrounded. I can't not walk with confidence. I can't not walk as if I own the whole fucking world, because the father that fathered my father, he owns the whole fucking world. And he told me that it's the same thing. As long as it's his, it's mine. So I am no longer, I'm still scared sometimes of the magnitude of what I envision in my future. But I'm getting more and more comfortable with it. It's not too much for me. And it's not too much for me because he believes that it's not too much for me. There's a reason why he chose me to do certain things or to be a certain kind of person. So whatever it is I need to become that person, I have, or I'm acquiring, I'm learning, I'm getting. So by the time I get to that point, so by the time maybe you start seeing me, today I'm with president of this country, tomorrow I'm with president of that country, or with this millionaire or that billionaire, I'm speaking here, I'm speaking there. If you want to say, Arisge. So you mean that, yeah. But I needed to believe I was worthy of those things. Otherwise, I won't walk in that light. I won't walk with that confidence. I won't walk with that. But the more I'm getting to know God, the more I'm believing nothing in my future is impossible. It just depends on how much I believe it and how much I'm willing to work at it. So, yeah, there are moments that even you sometimes your dreams might scare you because you'll be like, hey, which kind of dream be this? So, and that's not dream as in when you're sleeping, like your fantasies, your wishes, it will scare you, but who said you can't have it? Like who said you can't have the people that have it, they don't have two heads. They worked towards it, they worked at it, they had to believe it in order to work at it because it would never always be easy. There's no smooth ride ever. None. None whatsoever. Even people that inherited money will tell you that for me to multiply this money, for me to do all these things I've done, I went through. There's nobody that will say, oh, because I had money, my business just boomed. No. Because it's not money that will solve everything. There are certain things that you have to go through. There's no money. It's not throwing money at it that will solve the problem or that would change the outcome. It had to be, maybe your creativity had to expand, your resilience, your discipline, your whatever it was. But it's not always just money. So there's so many things that we forget that is part of the process. We're trying to remove it from the process. It's like a pregnant woman. You need that 9 months for the baby to fully form and to come out healthy. Because there's a period where the teeth will form, the eyes, the nails, the bones, all those things is a process. So if you're pregnant and I say, God, please let me just give birth to this baby in 1 month. How's that a prayer? Not to just give birth. There's a reason why it's 9 months. Because he has created different things are happening in those 9 months. So it's the same way with life. It's a process. Different things are happening. If you have, that's why they say premature babies. That means if you have that child before the 9 months are due, more often than not, you have to put the child in an incubator to finish that period that the child requires to be, would I say, hale and hearty, as they call it. So for us as well, it's a process, it's a journey. And in that journey, it's never smooth. So when you're praying to God and say you should remove hard times, you're pretty much praying to God to remove blessings. Because it's the hard times that bring the blessings. It's the tough times that is your elevation period. So it's like writing exams. You can't go from one class to the other without writing exams. So you can't say, oh God, please let them not give us the exam. That means you don't want to be promoted to the next class. Basically. Because if there's a strike and you don't write the exam, when you resume, you stay on the level you were until you write the exams and pass. Then you will go to the next level. So you can't say, oh, maybe like in university, Nigerian universities that go on strike, say maybe there was a strike for 2 years. And when the strike started, you were in 200 level. When you resume, they won't say because 2 years have passed, they will automatically put you in 400 level. It's possible. You will be back on that 200 level. If anything, they will have to now do refresher so that all the things that you have forgotten, you will come back. Then you will write exam. Then they can promote you to the next class. So it's the same thing with life. It's the same way God tests us before he promotes us, before he elevates us. Because if I don't test you, I don't know if you understand so far what I've taught you. That's the only way. So the test or the exam is to be sure that what I taught you, you've understood and then I can promote you to the next step. Because it's like adding on more responsibility, I can't add on more if I'm not sure that you can carry it. So let me use layman's example. When you go to the markets and all these alabaru, people that carry load, when they are putting load, they always ask, is it okay? Before they add the next one. So as they are putting the next box or the next carton, they're asking, are you okay? Sometimes she will adjust so that maybe to rebalance the weight of what she's carrying. And say, oh yeah, then you put more. Is it okay? Oh yeah, put more, put more. Imagine if you did not ask if the person was okay, or you didn't give them time to shift and adjust so that the weight of what they're carrying becomes more balanced. It will get to the point that you're just piling on, piling on, piling on. You put one thing and everything will just scatter because you are not giving them a chance to adjust to each new load or each new weight that you're putting on their head. Same thing with life. So the more God gives you, the more he tests you, because he needs to be sure that you are capable of handling these blessings, because every blessing is a responsibility. Whether it's money, kids, friends, whatever, it's a responsibility. If I have a child today, I'm responsible for that life. If I meet somebody today, I'm responsible for maybe that relationship, how I treat the person, you know. Everything is a responsibility. If it gives me money, I'm responsible for the people around me. So okay, let me digress briefly. If I was a Dangote, for example, let me even use, if I was an Elon Musk, okay, no, let me use our local, if I was a Dangote, the amount my driver will earn will be way different from me as Temitope Dania, the amount my driver will earn. And that's because our financial capabilities are totally different. So I can't maybe afford to pay my driver, let's say 200K every month as at today. Dangote can be paying his driver 1 million naira every month. That driver might not be working as hard as my driver because he might have 5 drivers. Maybe that my one driver now, driver, PA, they do school runs, they do everything. But I'm paying him maybe 100K or 120K because that's what I can afford. But the more I earn, the more it's my responsibility to pay more. That's the Muslim thinking. And that's why I say there are a lot of things in Islam that for me just resonate, because the more you have, the more you should pay. But there are some people, it's those rich people that are stingy. They want to buy corn by the roadside. They will squeeze that woman to the last point that even the 10 naira that she's making on the corn self, now I swear she takes sell out to you just because she needs the money that you're giving her. But you have the money. But you will price her to the last kobo. Because in your mind, you don't want them to chance you. You are chancing yourself because you are cheating yourself. Because you by yourself, you are not spreading the blessing that God has given you. So how will he give you more? You can't hoard God's blessings and expect him to give you more if you are not a funnel that other people are benefiting from. There's only so much. I'm not saying that you will collect it from your hand, but see, the world of abundance cannot be yours because mentally you don't even think like somebody that has abundance because you are thinking as if this money will finish tomorrow. So that's why you are spending the way you spend. I don't know how to price. And sometimes that I come across as being a maga. I don't mind it. That's what makes me a maga. I'll take that one anytime, any day. If someone says to me, oh, this is how much I want to charge for, let's say, maybe workmanship. Of course, I can negotiate. I'm not saying that I don't negotiate at all. But I would rather you tell me what you think you're worth, and then we can negotiate from there, than for me to assume this is what I think you're worth. Because it's different. So one carpenter's skills or capabilities is different from the next carpenter. So I can pay one carpenter 20K for workmanship and pay another one 50K for workmanship. Maybe what they did is different. Maybe the quality of what they gave me is different. You know the way sometimes some people will do some work. Even you'll be like, I suppose that's this guy something. You try. Yes, it's part of it because how am I praying for favor if I don't want to be a form of blessing to another person? You're praying for helper. But God needs you to also be helper to another person. But you block your ear to that one. But you are expecting another person to come and help. How? it's a what they call, it's a chain of, like a chain of blessings. So as you are being helped, you are helping others. That's why I say it's a funnel. You have to be a conduit. So as God is blessing you, you are blessing other people, financially, emotionally, however you are. But you have to pass on the blessings, the grace, pass it on. So God that sent somebody to make life easier for you also needs you to make life easier for another person or for other people. And if you don't know that, then you don't know God. You don't understand how he works. Because when we say, oh, God is not going to come from heaven to come and help you, he will send your fellow man. So as he's sending your fellow man, he's sending you too. You just no agree here because that one no favor you. He's sending you. Sometimes he's sending you in your toughest periods. Has somebody ever asked you for money when you yourself, you're broke? You know that kind you're broke that's is only the grace of God. You are easy to still maintain yourself. Then you now send somebody with problem to you that, is a test of faith. It's a test. As in when they say test, is a test. And that's why I say you have to be listening and paying attention, because sometimes it might seem like, whoa, I beg, this period, I don't even get money, I beg, I can't even help you. He said, I'm just managing myself. Yeah, for some people, he will say that because, like I said, some people will exploit you, some people will want to take advantage of you. But there are some kind asks, you know that it can only come from God. There was a situation that happened to me in the office. Until tomorrow is still a puzzle, but it needed to happen. It just happened randomly. Randomly, one guy and his daughter came to my office, and the guy said, oh, he's my neighbor, he's known me, he's seen me drive in and out. I'd never seen him before. Just explain the story. Oh, he's had stroke for a few years. His wife passed away last year. She was largely his support system. But long and short, oh, we needed money for medication, at least for this month. We're not able to. And I said, I've never seen this guy before. So even when he said he's seen me driving a few times, and first of all, it was strange because my security guy normally will not let anybody come into the office without, even he would tell them, call me. Or he will call me and say, madam, are you expecting anybody? He had told them to call me. They say, oh, they don't have my number. But they pointed at my car and said, it's the auntie that drives this car. And for some reason, he allowed them come in. Because he said he felt bad because the guy, you could tell visibly that he had stroke or it wasn't completely 100%. So he let them in. He was at the reception and then he came to call me. I said, oh, somebody's looking for. I walked past them because I didn't know them. So I didn't know it was me they were looking for. So I walked past them thinking the person that was looking for me was outside. And I said, no, see them here. Oh, sorry, sir. Good evening, sir. It was after work. And he said, oh, sorry, he's looking for the owner of the company. I said, nah, me. He said, you look so young. That's sorry, they didn't mean any disrespect. We laughed about it. And then he told me all that. As he was telling in my mind, I said, God, which kind of problem it is? Even me by myself now. Because I don't they package, raw package, and they drive big car, they say, this one, okay. Hey, hey. But as he was saying a story, something was just telling me, you will help this man. You will help this man. It wasn't a case of you should, it's you will. I thought about it. I said, okay, sir, it's not as if everything is bovy on my end, but at least I can help you with this 1 month medication costs that you've said. At the very least, at least next month can be another person's problem, or this one that you came. So I said, he said, am I sure? Thank you. Grateful, everything. He said, am I sure that because he wants to tell his daughter to start going to the pharmacy? I said, yes, that she can be going. And before she gets there, I would have done the transfer. I should not worry. I should go. If I can tell you, I don't know where that man lives. I don't know whether he's my next door neighbor or he's 2 doors down. I have no clue. I'd never seen him before until that day. And I don't say this story to paint myself in any kind of light. It's just saying that sometimes the situations happen that you cannot explain, but you feel compelled to do something about. And when this happened, I called my mom and I'll say, Mommy, see what happened. This guy came, blah, blah. She was like, did you give? I said, yes, I gave him the money. That I don't know why, I just felt very strongly that I should help him because it was too random. Like it was too random for it not to have been ordained by God. That's my own belief. So whether good or bad, right or wrong, I don't care. But that was my belief that it had to have been. And sometimes, and that's why I say sometimes it will test you when you yourself need help the most. Because the money I gave this man, I could have used to do something else. But it was for him, it was, how do I want to put it? It was relief for him, even if it was temporary. So I couldn't have necessarily said, oh, sir, you know what? I will take up all your medical costs. I wish I could, and I hope I find myself in that position someday. But as at that point, the only thing I could do that I know that at least this next 30 days, your mind will be at rest. I can cover the bills for the medications that you buy for the month. That was what I could do at that point in time. But for that person, I don't know, this is my own assumption, is relief for 30 days or at least for 20 before I start worrying about the next month. I have 20 days off. Thank God I have medication to use. By the time maybe the medication is almost finished, I might start worrying again. Start saying, hey, where am I going to get money for the next one? But for those two, do you know what it is to give somebody peace of mind for 20 days, 25 days? It's a lot, oh, it's a lot. So in my own small way, I tried. I wish I could have done more, but, and the only reason why I'm saying this story is saying that sometimes you have to inconvenience yourself for other people because you're praying for supernatural miracle. You're praying for testimony. You're praying for all these things. You can't explain them. You can't explain them. It's the reason why you meet some random person and that person changes your life. It's God that sends them to you. And they listened. They chose to be the vessel. Because if God wants to give you blessing, if the first person is saying no answer, second person no answer, he will find somebody that would deliver the message. There's no how. That's why I say when your time has reached, it has reached. No devil, no enemy, no nothing can stop it. When God decides, yes, this my child has learnt their lesson, they've passed the tests, I've put them through, it's time for, it will be like they opened floodgates. The blessing will just be, it's blessing upon blessing upon blessing will just be coming in. And you'll be wondering like, what did I do to deserve all this? Forgetting that you've gone through different tests. You've gone through different trials and tribulations. You've gone through, and you sort of passed. Maybe some you passed very well, some you were average, but you passed. And then the time has come to say, okay, yes, let me dash you. Let me give you some respite. Let me give you some. And in doing that, you go to church or you go to your mosque and give testimony and say, I can't even explain it. It could have only been God. I've been doing this. And then one day I just, yes, it's the same way too. When another person is giving their testimony, how about you are that person that they can't explain why you decided to help them or why you just chose to be in their corner, why you chose to support them. Sometimes it's not financial, but just saying that you're receiving and you should be giving. So it's both ways, receive and then give, receive and give, receive and give. That's the only way it keeps flowing. If you block the pipe, after a while, it will be full. So you can't receive anymore because nothing is going out. It just stopped. And then, so you have to let it flow so that more keep flowing. It's like cleaner water will be flowing. The more water is flowing through the pipe. And I know I've talked, just be following me in my, but it's, so I think what started me on this conversation was that if you believe in a God, it's humbling because you realize that there are forces bigger than you, both good and evil. I'm not one of those people that feel like there's no evil out there. There is evil out there. There's juju and there's all those kind of things. But do I believe that they have any power or right over? No, they don't. Sometimes God allows these things to feel like they succeeded. No. And because I need to test my child. In testing my child, you would think that is whatever you did that's worked. No. It's not. If God did not put yes, it will not work. If you like, go from here to go and meet your most powerful Baba. I'll go and put my name, my picture, collect my blood, take strand of my hair, everything. If God say this one, no go catch am. There's nothing you can do. Forget it. Forget it. I don't need to bind and cast, no nothing. He's already binding and casting on my behalf. Like the battles that he's fought on my behalf, I have no clue. I have no clue. Because some people don't look at you and just beef you. Say this one, why is he feeling? Why is she feeling? Yeah. So he's fighting battles that you have no clue about. So I don't need to tell him to help me fire burn them. He's already burning them. He's burning them. They are feeling it. As a more than I can even pray for him to burn. No, that way I pray for your enemy to die. Why do you want them to die? Let them be alive and be seeing the work of God in your life. So that by themselves they'll say, upon all everything where I do this girl, you know, catch 'em. Yes, that's the type that is sweet. That's the kind of revenge that is sweet. Once they die, they won't know. They will not know. When they let him be alive, still be beefing you. But they can't explain it. Say, yes, I'm a child of the Most High. Like, who the hell are you? Amy, no, please, oh. I'm covered, I'm protected, I'm blessed. I'm a product of grace. I'm a product of, like, I can't even explain it. I'm a product of my mother's prayers. Let me even put it there. Because even before I became more spiritual, I'm sure it's my mother's prayer that saw me through a lot of nonsense I put myself inside. Some situations that you put yourself, I just be like, I don't know how I go to Mo, because we don't drink, we don't shy, but you still drove from the island to Ikeja. You got home, the next day you go outside, you look at the car, you say, I did not bash. Don't bash anything. Don't bash anybody. Don't humble, enter the house, say, thank God. Thank God. Yes, it's probably my mother's prayer, because she was there praying and fasting while we were in the club, drinking and dancing. Yeah, it's part of it. But it's just saying that God kept you for a reason. He kept me for a reason. There are people that not do half or a quarter of the things I've done and they've gone. In fact, some people have never gone to club and they had car accidents, never drank alcohol and they had car accidents. Some of us were there drinking, slightly tipsy, feeling like we can make it, thinking that it's by it's not by your power or your might. So as they say, it's by the grace of God. It's by the Spirit. Yeah, yeah, not shy spirit, spirit of God. So yes, as long as it keeps you alive, it still has use for you. There's purpose that you're meant to serve. So it's figure it out. What is that purpose? How am I supposed to contribute back to the world? And I think that's what this whole my journey has sort of been, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to contribute to the world. How? Like, might not be big, might be, but I don't want to live empty. Empty in the sense that I don't want to live without making some form of impact. Might not be even on the global scale, even though I know that's what it's going to be, but just say. Might not be on the global scale, but in my small community, the people around me, am I making any form of impact? Am I adding value to anybody's lives? Am I enriching other people's lives? So it can't just be you taking. You have to give back as well. And that's what makes it mutually beneficial to everybody you interact with, because you are pouring into others as much as people are pouring into you. And that is, for me, is a more fulfilling life because it's more enriching, it's more reward. When they say giving is for the giver, because that feel-good feeling, you can't trade it. You know what it is when you help somebody or you give somebody something. They don't have to thank you and be rolling on the floor, but by yourself, you don't be feeling proud or feeling good, like as if, I'm glad I was able to even do this. So I'm glad I was able to. Yes, it's a feel-good feeling for a reason, because giving enriches us. Giving reminds us that we play a role. Giving reminds us that we're not totally useless, regardless of what we might be going through. So the person you are giving, I think in one of the episodes I mentioned, we're all looking for money, but we're looking for money in different degrees. One person is looking for $1 billion. Another person is just looking for 10,000 naira just to be able to eat for the next 3 days. I can't say because of that 1 billion now, I can't give you 10,000 naira. It's not going to stop my 1 billion from happening. Neither is it going to dent whatever I've gathered so far, So I might be pouring half a cup into you, but somebody else has poured a whole jug or a whole liter into me. The level or the level of giving and receiving might not always be equal, but it has to happen in some way. It has to happen. So you are taking and giving, taking and giving, taking. Even in relationships, friendships, you get tired if one person is the only one always giving, and that person is always receiving. After a while, you just say, well, please, this is my friend. Every time. Now me, they always spend money. Every time we hang out, I'm the one always paying the bill. You get tired of having that person around, even if they are good company, because you feel like you are being used. And nobody likes to feel used. But if once in a while, they will say, my guy, say me, I know if you buy this NSC or where una they buy you. But me will go my mama and Katie, I go do Nkobi and beer. That's okay. That's what you can afford, and that's fine. I would appreciate it, or whoever would appreciate. If they don't appreciate it, then maybe they are not your friends. But you would appreciate it because you know that this is what this person can afford at this point in time. It's the thoughts. So you are like, okay, at least my guy too, once in a while, instead if they do, well, let's do. Worst case scenario, I can say, okay, you know what? I don't get money to add to the bill, but I can pay for like maybe all our packing. All those boys that will dash money or the valet, I can do that one. Let me sort that one out for everybody. That's something. It also maintains respect for you as an individual because they know that you're not just there to take all the time. And so in my maybe asking, seeking, trying to understand, those were some of the things that I'd say I learned or were further buttressed in my conversations with God, because it was a case of, if you understand how I am, that's Him, then it's easier for you to understand how He expects you to be. Because if He's such a giving God, He's a forgiving God, He's a benevolent God, He allows us be human. He allows us make mistakes. He allows us mess up. He allows us learn from our mistakes. Then as human beings, we have to also have that same kind of mindset and spirit. So where does the judging come in if you're trying to be benevolent, if you're trying to allow people to be? You can't judge now. Like, it's hard. How are you castigating someone for not knowing any better? So maybe you grew up in a religious family, so you know the scripture, you are used to going to church. Then you meet someone who didn't grow up in that kind of background, and you're judging them for not growing up in that kind of background. That's something that was out of their control. They didn't have a choice in the kind of parents or family they would have grown up. So they grew up in a family where religion wasn't really a big deal. They didn't really go to church. So for them, that was their way of life. And then because you now meet them and I say, how can you not? Teach them, show them. So if you think you know better, then teach them, let them at least know that there's another way to see things or there's another way to do things. That way, you are pulling them closer, not pushing them away. Because when you judge people, you push them away. I can't want to help you and I'm judging you, because automatically you go into defense mode because you feel like, this one now, I can't even just be myself, because any small thing now, they will be reminding me, there will be this, there will be that. But if I want to teach you, then I have to meet you where you are, which is maybe you don't know better or you know better and you haven't decided on a better way or a better choice. Then I can show you, this is what I understand, this is what I learned, this is what I did. And gradually, the person will start to maybe see things from your point of view or learn things from you because they're observing. And more often than not, we learn more by observing than from just listening. So you can say anything, but when I watch the way you behave, I know if this thing you are saying is showing up in the way you behave. So if you are telling me, God is love and God is this, are you love? You are not love. And then you are telling me your God is love, I should come and follow your God. I'm doubting, because if you claim that this is what your God said you should do, but you're not doing it, then you want me to, how do I come to your side? when you are not showing the things that I'm supposed to be emulating. No, 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 no. So I will not agree with you. No. So you have to show it, and it has to come through in who you are as a person and how you are as a person. So that's what I'm trying to do. I don't get it right all the time. I'm not perfect. That's why I know. Yes, we take advantage of God's benevolence and His forgiveness. We do. But He already knew that we were going to do that. That's why He's unlimited. He did not put a cap on it. He did not say, I will only forgive you 3 times in your life, or I will only allow you to mess up only 2 times. No. He knows that we are going to stumble plenty times. He knows we are going to sin several times. He knows we are going to get up again. We are going to learn. We are going to try to redo, start afresh. He knows all those things. That's why he didn't put a cap on it. He left it open-ended. Fall as many times as you need to fall, but get back up. Sin as many times as you need to sin, but learn. Learn from it. Slowly but surely, we'll get there. Slowly but surely, you will start to shed some of all these things. But if he gave us limits, then maybe we'll have timetable or we'll be taking score. But he didn't put a limit to it. So until you find yourself, keep falling, keep stumbling, just know that I'm here to catch you. I'm here to support you. I'm here to direct you, guide you, protect you, even when you don't know you needed it. Even when you didn't know you needed God, He's there. He's there. He doesn't go anywhere. And we would say He's all seeing, all hearing, He's all knowing. So there's nothing, before you even do that thing, before the thoughts came to your head, He knew you were going to think it. He knew you were going to weigh those 2 options or those 3. He knew. Like He already knew that this one, Oma fornicates. I know, Oma fornicate. She knows in your body. I can see it. He knew, like he knew, forget it. He knew. There's no nothing. I'm not saying that that's an excuse to keep sinning or keep doing things that you know are bad. But I'm just saying, like, he knew all those things, but he still did not erase you because of that. He didn't say, because I know that this my child is going to kill. If not, people like Adolf Hitler would not have even, like, they would have been dead a long time ago, because in his mind, like, this one is going to kill so many people. Kill him. But he allowed those things happen because some of those things are fundamental experiences that shaped, I would say, history, shaped a lot of people, shaped entire countries, entire religions, tribes, like the Jews, the World War II whole saga. It's such a fundamental part of their entire history. Like, you can't talk about the Jews without talking about that part of history. Like, that would never have happened if that nigger was not born. It's not a nigger, but it's a nigger. Everybody is a nigger. White, black, orange, purple. I don't give a shit. We're all human beings. So if you call me nigger, call me cracker. Luckily for me, I'm a Nigerian. We don't understand racism. Like, for us, is you can't call me a nigger and I'll be offended. Me say I'll be doing my nigger. It's the beauty of it. I love being a Nigerian. I can't lie. Like, the audacity that we have, it's hard for you to want to trample on us because we don't understand it. We've never felt like we're under anybody. No, if anything, we feel like we pass you safe. What do you mean? Even the brokest guy has pride and ego, because as far as he's concerned, who you be? Who's your daddy? And I feel that maybe that's part of the God in us, because we don't feel like we're inferior to anybody else. We feel like we're equally as good. Now just chance where we no get. That's the way a poor man will tell you. Say, now just the chance where I never get to. Say, you tell you, say, me self, I no know book. Because I no see money go school. If they send me go school, I go do better than. That's how we think. And it's probably what has kept us, because that perseverance, that belief in ourselves has kept us alive. And probably that's why we do shit to ourselves, because somehow or the other, we keep just going through and getting by. I digress. Anyway, but just saying that, I think maybe as a Nigerian, we genuinely, like, we're not faced by all those kind of things. But okay, going back to, what was I talking about? Adolf Hitler. Yeah, just say that. So some bad things will happen. God will allow it happen. Because It's part of some people's story. It's part of some people's experience. There are some things that need to come out of that bad that would change the course of the world. Some people, entire, I would say maybe lives were changed. Some people became advocates for maybe human rights and all those kind of things because of this incident that happened. Some people became more empathetic towards their fellow humans because of this thing that happened. Some people, there's so many things. It's like with wars, slavery, all there are too many things that you can question God on. But He never promised you a smooth ride. Neither did He say it's going to remove all the negatives. No, the negatives would happen. Even in growing as a human being physically, you go through pains now for your body to stretch for this. As a woman, every month we go through every goddamn month. Every month, whether you like it or not. You don't have a choice on whether you have a smooth ride or not. So for some of us, that every month is a traumatic experience. For some people, it just comes and goes as if nothing, nothing. We don't have a say. We don't know how that selection happens. He did not say, oh, yeah, Tope, I'm going to make your own period difficult. Take it. Jumoke, your own is going to be smooth sailing. Take it. No, 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 no. For whatever reason, it's different for everybody. Same way some people have, say, maybe 4 kids and all 4 pregnancies, labor, everything was just pew, 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 pew. Another person has 1 child and that 1 pregnancy, goddamn, they saw heaven, hell, everything in between. Maybe from first day they discovered they were pregnant, they were on bed rest throughout. They couldn't do anything. Labor came, it was another process. So imagine that person saying their own story, and then the person who had 4 kids without pregnancy, say, is it just pregnancy that you're making it seem as if, because yours was smooth, does not mean that the other person's journey is negligence. Because yours was easier does not mean that the other person's own is an exaggeration. That's what they went through. Their story, their journey is different from yours, so you have to appreciate everybody's perspective and where they're coming from. And that's where the whole loving your neighbor as yourself come. I don't even know how I reach here. Oh, we don't reach here, Sha. Loving your neighbor as yourself, because you have to meet people where they are and you have to try to understand people where they are. I might not get it, I might not agree with it, but I need to at least try to see where you're coming from. And I think that's where my whole being a people observer, it works for me, because I like to understand why people do certain things. And I feel that when you think like that, it makes you more understanding and I'll say more forgiving, because it's harder to be upset when you understand why somebody did something, even if you won't have done the same thing under the same circumstances. But I can get it now. So maybe you reacted in a way that I didn't like. By the time I sort of process it in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay. When I spoke to him, that's when he told me that just before I called, he just lost one business deal. So by the time I called and I was saying this, that, he just snapped at me. But if I didn't know that back end, in my mind, I'm like, he just snapped at me. Blah, 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 blah. By the time he explains, I'm not like, oh, okay. And it still doesn't mean you should have snapped at me, but I get it now. I understand why that was your maybe initial reaction at the time when we spoke. And it makes life easier. So the whole loving your neighbor as yourself, you have to understand your neighbor to love your neighbor. And you can't put condition on this love. You don't love your neighbor just when they are good. You don't love your neighbor when they are favorable. I've had my moments where sometimes I feel some people are undeserving of this love. But it's not my place to pick and choose, because it's not about them. It's about me. It's about me having the power to do and undo and choosing not to. Because sometimes we chance the people that we have power over. It's like, let's say, as a boss, for example, you have a staff, you're paying a salary. Let's say you're a driver, you're paying his salary. So he does something to you you don't like. And you say, because of that, I will not pay your salary for this month. Or I would withhold your salary until day 10 of the next month. You can only do that to him because you are the one paying his salary. If it was not somebody you were paying his salary, you will not go and chook your hand in his account as if because you did this thing to me, I'm going to remove this money from your account and hold on to it. But you could take that decision because you were in control of his finances. And that's you playing God without realizing it. Because if God was doing the same to us, we would not like it now. So that's why I said whatever he does is not personal. It's not that I will show Tope. No. Tope needs to learn something. Tope needs to go through something. Tope needs to understand something. That's it. It's not about how to punish Tope, how to show her Pepe. It's more that she needs to learn. She needs to understand. She needs to appreciate. She needs to. So even in your dealing with people, you have to change the mindset. I'm not trying to punish you or revenge against you, but I need you to understand certain things. So if, for example, you do something to me and I withdraw from you, it's not punishment. It's just because I need you to understand that boundary that I'm trying to set, for example. It's not that, oh, I want to show you paper. I don't have the time or the energy. Half of the time, I don't even remember. I used to be that person that if I say, oh, I'm keeping my list, so I've forgotten. It's me that will come and hug you. I will say, really, really, really. I person now wonder, it's not you that you say you're not talking to me. I don't forget to, sorry. I forgot it. And it makes life easier because you're not carrying unnecessary problem on your head. If someone does me something, I will hand them to God. Baba God, now you know, if you deal with them as you see fit. Because sometimes they had to do that thing to you for you to learn the lesson. Because you don't learn lesson when it happens from afar. It has to be people close to you. You can't be betrayed by an outsider or a random person. You can only be betrayed by people that are close to you. You can only be betrayed by people that you consider family or friends or those kind of stuff. So the lesson is for you. It's not about this person did. Yes, this person did, but they had to do for you to learn. They had to do for you to experience or to go through that thing. So revenge is not for me, it's for the Lord. He's self-talker. It's for him, it's not for me. So all that battling and trying to, that's too much mental stress. That's why I said in knowing God, in sort of, in knowing him, in learning to appreciate the role he plays in my life, a lot of things that used to overwhelm me no longer overwhelm me. Because I know that I have a full support system. I have a full, I don't even know what I'll call it. So it's not even just support system. It's like you have navigation, support, guidance, everything all rolled into one. So you can't, some problems are not for you to worry about. Just shift them and deal with the ones that are in your control. What I will eat today is not God that will give me now. So it's me that will say, what am I eating today? Is it pounded yam or is it bread and butter? That one is in my contract. I'll do with that one, no problem. If I'm trying to feed a nation now, now God could show me how I'll be able to feed a nation. So it's different, but I can't lie, I love the fact that I'm getting to know him in my own way without people telling me how I should know him. I want to know him for myself. I want to know him in a way that how will I put it? In a way that is pure. Let me put it that way. In a way that is pure, pure in the sense that it's not another person's opinion or another person's voice. So God to you might mean something else, but I'm particular about who God is to me and who I am in the context of all his creations. And I think that's largely what this entire journey of life is about, is trying to figure out who your creator is and ultimately who you were created to be, basically. And that's what I'm trying to do. In the process, unfortunately for you people, I don't think my God is a boring God. So we're going to be having fun in the process of this, figuring it out. And we're going to be enjoying ourselves. So whether you approve of it or not, that's your concern. Like I said, all this God sequestry and God freedom fighter, no concern me. Me and him, we have our own discussion, we have our own agreements. So anything that you think, right or wrong, that's your personal opinion. It's a you problem. It's not a me problem. No concern me. Me, him, we're okay. I don't know if it has made sense to you in this episode, but to myself, yeah, I think it's been refreshing. And I think not just refreshing, I think I genuinely always just wanted to clarify what I mean by when I say I am not religious. And I'll stand by it anytime, any day. So maybe the next few months, few years, I might actually now align with one religion. I don't know. But for now, I love being open-minded enough not to think any one religion is better than the other. I actually don't think anyone is better than the other. I think they're all just means to the same end. We're all trying to still find our way to this one God, one sovereign being that we believe in. And however you find your way to him is irrelevant. The most important thing is that you find your way to him or her, depending on what you believe, what gender you think he or she is. I think it doesn't matter. He, she, they, them, all the same. As long as you know what you're talking about, who you're talking about, then that's fine. So this is me just talking about it. Some people will agree, some people will not agree, but that's okay. I'm okay with people not agreeing. In fact, I like it when people don't agree with me. I know I'm on the right track. If you agree with me too much, I feel like I'm conforming. But no, I like it because sometimes it makes you think in a way that you probably not thought of before, or at least it makes you explore. If you allow yourself, because some people will genuinely, like I was just with my friend and I, he had closed his mind totally, because as far as it's concerned, you can't not be religious and say you believe in God. So to him, was even willing to explore any other avenue. But for me, oh no, that's maybe sowed the seed for the first time, because for the first time I was like, oh, so this is possible. So yeah, it's worked for me in ways that I never thought possible, and it's freed me up so much because I could now just find my own way without following what somebody says I should or shouldn't do and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're on it. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. Like I said, I'm covered. I'm a child of grace. I'm a child of God. No doubt about it. So when I'm walking in my confidence, just know that it's because I know that I'm covered. So nothing. Can go to anywhere you want to go to. No shakings. If he allows it to happen, there's something you're supposed to learn from it. Otherwise, there's no arrow or whatever you want to throw at. I don't need to cast and bind you. Shield has already covered me. So you can throw all the arrows you want to throw. It's okay. I don't worry myself. And on that note, I think I'm going to say goodbye. I'll see you on the next episode. Love you. Stay blessed. You're blessed. You're blessed. Mwah. Bye.